very high.
The International Monetary Fund, IMF Managing Director, Kristalina Georgieva, who is in the country, I believe, has lauded or exuded confidence in our economic recovery program. Rosalind, some people are quite jittery at the way we are getting too comfortable with the IMF. Well, is that something to be worried about?
It depends with how we look at it, because remember, Uhuru's administration looked east. They were more cozy with China and Japan. And the same happened under the late Mwai Kibaki. But during that time, you can actually see some of the projects that he started. He did the Thika Superhighway. Yep. Under Uhuru Kenyatta, we are talking about the Nairobi Expressway. We are talking about the SGR and other projects. But when President William Ruto came on board, I think one of the things he said that he was going to scale down on borrowing. They're not going to launch major projects, and they are going to concentrate and not even borrow money for recurrent and development, and ensure that whatever we have, we are able to sustain. And if you look at since President William Ruto assumed office in September, he has actually had many meetings with the West, the US, the UK. He even went for the US-Africa Summit in December. How many times has he engaged the East? He only met the Chinese ambassador in October, where he was saying that they are able to have engagements. You saw he went to Korea. And I think for the first time we have seen the Prime Minister of China coming on, of Japan coming to Kenya. Yep. And Japan has also had many projects, JICA and the others that have been in Kenya for a while. So this is again the struggle and the charm offensive of Africa. Who best will have to sit best? Is it the West or is it the East? Now, by having the first special session of the UN meeting that we are talking about here, all these big shots, the heads of the UN under the chair of the UN Secretary General, who is chairing the Chief Executives Board meeting here for the 2 days, today and tomorrow, actually tells you that where they sit is about advancing the financial support to the African institutions. And I think that is where William sits, to see that if I am cozy with these people, then even in terms of the restrictions that IMF has put in place, that the World Bank has put in place, we can actually have a soft landing ground and also renegotiate the concessional loans. Because remember, under President Uhuru Kenyatta, when they decided to retire the expensive loans, the Chinese loans, they were talking about concessional loans for a very long time with the IMF and the World Bank. But that came tied with some conditions, such as the job cuts they are talking about. Even the issue of the university institution, those are some of the issues that were discussed. The issue of collapsing parastatals, doing away with the subsidy. So we are actually getting into what the World Bank and the IMF actually wants us to do. But where are we? We are in a corner, because at that particular time we had a high appetite for loans. So here is a case where our loans are maturing, we need to pay them, we have the debts, because if you look at our budget, the first charge is a public debt before anything else. And we have to meet our debt obligations. So because of that, you look at it and you say, if I'm with the East or I'm with the West, yeah, where am I comfortable? Where am I going to get more support to be able to sustain the economy and at the same time meet our obligations?
All right. Prof, the most skeptical Kenyans are comparing what we are seeing